Hello and welcome. This is another presentation. This time we're going to show you the Gantt chart and how to use it to manage your schedule. The Gantt chart is a graphical representation of the activities as segments on a time scale. It was developed by Henry Gantt in 1911. Henry Gantt was an engineer, and he used this representation of the activities as segments to help him monitor work in factories and work so that he knows that when certain things need to happen, and he can then identify any delays or any problems with that. So this tool has been with project management since 1911, and we had many different type of tools and software solutions to help us manage that. But basically, the Gantt chart is using our work breakdown structure. We list all of our activities, we define our schedule, and in this matrix then we start identifying the sequence of my activities and the durations from where I start, how long does it take, and where it ends. So in each one of these activities I determine that based on information that I receive from my estimation, and then I'm able to chart the complete project from the beginning to end, and I know when activities are going to start and when they're going to end. Once I have that chart, I can also identify the progress that I made. Let's see that we are starting on week 4, that today is that week 4, and then I can see that all of these activities are now complete. That are some activities that haven't started. I see some activities that still are not finished, they are late, and I see some activities that are ahead of schedule. This simple representation is a very useful tool that helps me identify and start asking questions about these activities, and I can focus my effort to try to solve those problems. The Gantt charts can be simple. You can have a very simple diagram like this one where you draw your bars, and you can use maybe even by hand in a very simple tool where you visually are representing when activities are happening, when they occur, and what is the sequence. You can even use a tool like Microsoft Excel where you can use the same concept of showing all the activities on each one of the tasks represented by those segments. Or you can even use more complex tools if your project has the level of complexity. And that is important remark that depending on how complex your project is, that comes the need to use more complex technology. If your project is simple, then probably a simple tool will be more than enough of what you need. This is mostly the typical type of requirements that you will need to look in your project if you want to manage your schedule, that you're able to identify your activities in the WBS, that you have a representation of your timeline, and then you are able to diagram the duration of each activities and the dependencies of those activities. Look at this, and maybe that it's a little bit of a mix between the Gantt chart and the network diagram. And that's the idea, that it helps you not only see the duration of activities when they start, but also the relationship of each activities and the dependencies that they have. And here I have my end date that helps me calculate the total duration of my project. The dark bars are the summaries of all the WS components in terms of my objectives and results that then help me understand when certain activities are summarized under that result and how long each one of those results will take in the project. That tool, then, another useful feature is that during the implementation of the project, I can then update it regularly looking at the percent completion. So imagine that today is this date that I'm drawing this vertical line, and I can make a quick observation and see that I have activities that have been completed, some activities that are still behind, activities finished, activities that are ahead of the schedule activities that are way behind and haven't been completed. Then again, I can then start looking at those activities and concentrate my efforts to monitor and then find out what is happening with these activities and what will be the impact if those activities are still late on my final date in the project. That's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.